Well, good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. Welcome to a moment with the victory moment with CK. I appreciate you for joining me and connecting with me. Let's chat today with my guest, my special guest. She is amazing, and her name is Dr. Carolyn Stevenson. And I know if anything, she'll correct me if I'm not saying it correctly. But we are here today, and I'm going to say this before I even introduce myself. We're going to be talking about what we're talking about today. Can I say it again? What we are going to be talking about today, and I'm so excited, is about rising up and moving forward. Can I say it again? It's about rising up and moving forward. And this time and season, how do we do that? This time and season, how do we go forward? Well, I am the host of this amazing show called The Victory Moment with CK. And I started this because I felt that in the midst of everything that's happening, we need to understand that we can still get victory in it. So I'm excited with my guests here, and I'm going to briefly share something with her, and share something about her, and then I'm looking forward for her to continue with whatever other information she would like to share about herself. But I am just excited to connect with her. And you'll find out more of who she is and why I am so connected to her in a moment. But listen. Let me talk to you about her for a few minutes. I'm pulling up her information because I really want to make sure I'm saying what I say very clearly of who she is. And she's definitely an author, and all of that good stuff. But I want to share this main piece. That Dr. Carolyn Stevenson is now serves as a community clinical therapist and family support specialist. She also holds a doctorate in divinity and uses her education and experience to promote cultural diversity with the focus on empowering and developing African American women. So currently, she serves as the CEO of Black House Collaboration Incorporated and is the founder of the I Am a Black Woman book series. She empowers women to rise. Notice what I said, to rise above challenges and champions community strength through unification. I introduce her to some and welcome and share with her to others because there's so many that know her. But I am excited to have you on, Dr. Carolyn.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
and as you will know, she's one of the producers and the producers of BHC, which I started to connect with. But we're going to talk more about that. And I'm just telling her, welcome again, Dr. Carolyn, for
Thank you
joining
so
me
much.
and taking time out of your schedule because I know her schedule is major. So I welcome everybody. I see you, Miss White. I see you, Natasha, and I see those that are coming in from Facebook and from my YouTube channel. I appreciate you and thank you again for joining, Dr. Carol. Share what you do again, more of who you are and what you do, and just how, I mean, who is Dr. Carol?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much, Elder Carmen, for having me here on uh, the Victory Moment with CK. I'm very humbled. I'm very grateful. I'm excited about being on the platform with you. I love the subject matter that we're going to be discussing on tonight. To those of you who are watching right now, who are here with us, thank you so much for tuning in. And for those of you who will have an opportunity to watch the replay, thank you so much for tuning in to the replay. And thank you so much, Elder, for that wonderful and warm and heartfelt introduction. Again, for those of you that may not have caught the introduction, I'm Dr. Carolyn Stevens, and Elder Carmen has said she's basically said just about it all. I currently reside in city of Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Brooklyn, New York. So I am a Brooklyn girl at heart. I serve here as a clinical family therapist and family support specialist. And yes, I'm an author. And so, since I said the word author, congratulations to you, Elder, on your new book. And so I hope that all of you out there who are watching, that if you hadn't bought the book, you need to buy it. And so congratulations to you. Authorship is an awesome thing. I currently serve as the CEO for Black House Collaborations LLC, and our media subsidiary, which is what brought Elder CK and I together, is the BHC Media Group, which is our television on demand network, streaming to Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. You can also download our app and watch shows, including Elder CK's Victory Moment with CK. You can watch that from the convenience of your home on the mobile app. So you can watch us on your iPhone, your Android, your tablet, and your computer. And so, if you have not had the opportunity to see her show, which is absolutely delightful, I want to invite you tonight to go in and to watch her show on the television network. So, again, I'm Dr. Carolyn Stevens, super excited about being here and discussing the subject matter about rising up. I'm excited about that, Elder. So, wherever you'd like for us to start, let's just begin there.
Let's go. Let's go. One of the things I want to talk about, and I think is so important right now to talk about, is what is rising up and moving forward to you?
Rising up and moving forward. And I like those two things together because that's really profound that you did put those two things together, rising up and moving forward. So first and foremost, what I'd like to say is that when we look at the two movements together, that tells me that because we're divinely made and created by God, we are we are transcending, and we're also transitioning. And that's real important. Okay. We are transcending, means that we're going from grace to grace. We're going from glory to glory. We are moving up, but we're also transcending as well, and we're transitioning. It means that the person that you and I were 6 months ago. We're not that same person. We've transitioned. We have moved to a different a place. So we're transcending and we're transitioning all at the same time.
Same time.
So rising up for me, really, Elder, it just means that where I was, I'm moving up. I'm going upward. I'm getting closer and closer every day to the the God that's already in me. That's what the rising up means to me. However, now I know that you know, and everybody who's listening, I know we understand that as we're moving up, we're going to be presented with challenges. Does everybody get that? We're going to be presented with challenges. So somebody might be saying, well, hey, Dr. Carolyn, Elder CK, the way I feel right now and where I am, I don't feel like I'm moving up. I feel like I'm a little stuck. But again, there's always going to be interference in the spiritual highway. You remember when Daniel had fasted and he was praying, right? And he was ascending in the heavenly realm. And what happened? The Bible tells us that he became challenged. And then God released an angel from heaven to tell him, Daniel, we have God has heard your prayers, but a satanic force came in and tried to intercept your prayers. Okay, and that's why you feel stuck. However, the angel of the Lord reminded him, but God has sent me here to fight your battle, to
Your
fight.
battle. Right.
So we have to understand that as we're rising up, yes, you that you're listening, you're rising up right now. And how do I know that? Because of all the challenges that you're having right now, okay, the devil don't mess with people that's not going somewhere. You can believe that. So you're going somewhere. So there's always going to be interference in the realm of the spirit when you're rising up. Okay. And as you're rising up, you're going to have to leave some things behind. You're going to have to leave that old nature behind, old habits, old behaviors. I'm going to say it, some old friends, okay, some old associates. You're going to have to leave something behind because you always have to give up something in order to gain something. And that's where the moving forward takes place because you got to be willing to leave some stuff behind in order to make your progression. And that's your moving forward.
And we gonna get deeper into that because
All
that's
right.
one of you know what we're going to be talking about as we talk about how but as you shared, when it comes to rising up and moving forward, to me, I'm thinking about, as you shared, um rising means getting up, and that's what it means to me. And anyone that's listening, you know have you told someone it's all right to get up? Because it's all right to go through challenges and the phases that we go through, but you got to get up. And that the only way you can move forward is if you get up. And that's what, rising means to me. It's not about watching what everybody else is doing, but rising means to me is daily meeting your goals, daily meeting your challenges, and facing your challenges each day and winning. Because this is Winning Wednesday. In the midst of everything, I call it Winning Wednesday. And in order to win, you got to rise. You got to rise. So the rising comes in the connection of getting up. And then in order to, when you get up, that's the only way you're going to move forward. So we're going to go right into the other part of what we wanted to discuss, which is how. I'm going to talk about how do you rise up first. And then we're going to talk about how you're going to go forward next. So I'm going to start this off and then I'm going to let you flow right into it, Dr. Carolyn.
Sure.
How do you rise? Welcome. I see you, Trish. I see you, PT. Welcome everybody that is coming in. You know, how do I rise up? Because it makes no sense for me to talk about this today with you, but we have no answer to how do you really rise up. So I'm going to share one of the ways that you rise up is that you've got to make plans. Number one, you've got to look beyond what you're seeing. Because what happens is if you're only looking at the negativity of things, it's hard to rise up. But when you start looking more into the positive things and your mindset and your attitude changes, and I think you were going into that, Dr. Carolyn, that makes it that's one of the ways to help you rise up. Having the right people around you helps you to rise up. Because if I see you falling, I'm gonna take your arm and say, "Come on, we could make it." Your thoughts, Dr. Carolyn?
I think what you just said is absolutely beautiful. And so, ways that we can rise up. So, I'm going to say something, um, which is a principle that I use in my therapy work. I apply it to life, I apply it to my own life. Um, First and foremost, to identify that you've been laying down. Okay.
Mm.
Identify that you've been laying down. Identify where you are. That's real important because you can't rise to the next level until you identify where you are. It doesn't mean you have to stay where you are, but you do need to identify where you are, and so that you're moving in honesty within yourself, you know. And so I would say the first thing is identify where you are, and that, and then accept that this is not it for me, that there's yet another level for me. And sometimes that's hard for people to accept, that this is not it. Because when we accept that this is it, then we can become complacent where we are. And then we get stuck. And then we have a hard time accepting that God wants me to be on another level. Okay. That's part of the rising up. He doesn't want you here where you are, whether that's financially, whether that's spiritually, whether that's emotionally, whether that's physically. This is okay. This was good, but God has better. And then He has better, but then God has greater. So I would say, first of all, identify, do an assessment, a real assessment about where you are, and then accept the fact that there's another place, that there's more that God has for me. I mean, those are two very pertinent things for us to start rising up.
And I think that was well said because a lot of times we don't identify. And in order to move forward, now I'm going into the moving forward, you have to identify where you are. You have to identify what you know what you need to do. You need to identify where the weak and strength is. Where how can I do this? How can I go forward? And one of the things that really made me look at this is this whole situation with every time you turn around, it seems that something else is rising up. I mean, when I say we've had such, I would say the last 4 years, not just 2 years, but the last 4 years or 3 years has really been challenging. And how do you rise from that? How do you keep moving forward when every time you turn around, well, you need another injection, or you need another vaccination, or something else rises up? Um, the senseless, killings and all of that. And it's like, okay, how do I go forward? How do I manage in this circumstance? And I think you said it perfectly, assessing where you are right now, and being aware of your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Because I know one thing for me, and I'm gonna say me. I know I would not have made it if it wasn't for God. I know I would not have kept going if it wasn't for God. Because there were times that I just woke up and I was like, I'm about to lose my mind up in here, up in here. Because I wasn't used to certain things, and it just seemed like you're being caged like an animal, you know? It's like, wait a minute, how do I move forward? But you move forward again through understanding where you are so that you can, and knowing where you want to go. Understanding where you are so you know where you want to go. So you'll be clear on your direction because you acknowledge God in all your ways. And we're sharing this and we're putting this in here because this is who we are. And the natural part of us and the other part of us understands, yeah, everybody's not a Christian, we know. But this is how we live. This is the way we proceed. And in prayer, how do you move forward in prayer? How do you move forward? By, connecting with the right people, getting the help that you may need, and things of that sort. You know, moving forward to for you, Dr. Carolyn, how does that, what would you say? How do you move forward?
Well, and I love what when you talked about a plan. I'm paraphrasing. I love what you said about um, giving yourself a collective, a support group, if you will, because we do need the energy of other people to connect with, to help to push us forward. That's why God created people, because we need other people. And oftentimes what is a deception that comes from the enemy, especially when we're being traumatized and when we're going through a crisis, what is one of the first things that he tells you? You don't need to be bothered with anybody. Isolate yourself. You can figure it out by yourself. As a matter of fact, you need to be by yourself. I want to tell you that is definitely a trick of the enemy, because that's not when you need to isolate yourself. I'm certainly not saying there are not times that we don't need to get by ourselves so we can just spend time with ourselves and with God. And let me interject something here, Elder, if I may. And you were very gratuitous in mentioning that many of the people that are watching now, many people that will watch, you may not be a person that professes Christianity, but all of us are spiritual beings, though. We connect to something that has us breathing and living every single day. And I say that because it's important that we understand, especially those of us who are Christian, but that we understand that we are first spiritual beings having a very human experience. And that's important because
Mm.
when you know, first and foremost, that I'm a spiritual being first, and I'm just having a human experience. So the human experience that I'm having doesn't predicate my purpose, nor does it determine my destiny. I'm a spiritual being, so I move by spirit. I flow by spirit. And so whatever is happening in the earth realm, whatever's happening to my physical body, whatever's going on with my money or whatever, it is just a temporary situation, and I
Mm.
will make it through it because I am first and foremost, I am a spiritual being created to flow, not to sit still, not to get stuck. But I'm a spiritual being created in the image of God. And so there is a spiritual force that works behind me, that works through me, that gives me the energy and the synergy to be able to flow through this. You remember, Elder, when Jesus was in the crowd of people, and there were some people that was looking to kill him, right? But the Bible tells us that he moved through the crowd, he moved through the enemy, he moved through the opposition. So what am I saying? Because when we begin to tap into the spirit, when we just let go of all of the fleshly thoughts, I'm not gonna make it, I'm gonna be broke. When we learn to let go of all of that stuff, and then we move according to God's word, we move by the spiritual being that we are, then God gives us the ability to be able to flow through that problem, to be able to speak to the mountain and tell the mountain to be thou removed. And before you know it, because we moving by spirit, then before you know it, we over to the other side. Now somebody might say, well, how you know I'm gonna get to the other side? Because you here watching this replay. Now, where was you a month ago? You place 6 months ago, and you think you was gonna make it, right? You had that big bill, that big burden a year ago, and you didn't think you were gonna make it. But you here today. That means that we have the ability to make it over to the other side. Now I know it's just getting over to the other side, but greater, come on now, is he that's in me than that problem that's in the world. So to move forward, first and foremost, understand I'm a spiritual being. I'm just having a human experience. I'm going to make it through this. There is another side, and God's going to help me get from point A to point Z. I may not know how he's going to do it. Now, I'm going to stop right there because that's a lot of our problem, because we're trying to control the situation, trying to control God. We're going to ask God to give us something, and then we want to tell him how we want him to give it to us. And that's not going to do nothing but get us in trouble and have us frustrated. We don't control that part. All we know is we make ourselves available to the Holy Spirit to work through us, to work around us, to give us favor, to work with other people, okay? And then we just continue to go. Every morning I wake up, I thank God for breath, health, and life. God, according to your plan, I will make it through this. Whatever this is, I will make it through this. Why? Because you promised it to me in your word. You cannot lie. And so I trust you, God. So that's how we start to begin to move forward.
And I'm going to interject. And one of the things, I do and I realize is you have to have a made up mind. Someone said something to me yesterday because I was dealing with an associate with something. And they said to me, wow, you're determined. And I said, it's become a part of me. And I keep saying this now. It's like, I guess it's a message for me. I'm not saying it for everybody else. I keep saying, listen, I'm 56 now. And I keep saying it. And I'm like, in my 56 years of living, and I start looking back and I start understanding that if you made it through this, I'm going to just say this, then you can make it through that.
That is so awesome.
Listen, you can make it through. If anything I want to say on my live today, on this moment with victory moment with CK. In victory, you have to understand that this is only temporary. And I'm reiterating what you're saying because what happens is we start overwhelming ourselves with, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it through? How am I going to pay this? How am I going to do that? And we're told, those of us that connect with God and fellowship with God, we're told that you can't add anything to your day. So even if you're fretting, that's not going to help you. But what he said, to acknowledge him in all your ways. And those of us that, again, that may not have that relationship with God, because God is everywhere. God is here. And it's up to you. He's just waiting for you to connect with him in that spiritual level, as you were talking about. And this is not where we were going, but see, part of rising is knowing where you're going. Part of rising, because it's hard to rise when you have no idea where you're going, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. But when you're rising and you understand, I am more than a conqueror. I am victorious. I can make it through. I've made mistakes. Can somebody on the chat say I've made mistakes? Can somebody on the chat just say I've made mistakes? But the bottom line is you made it through. And you learn from them and you grow from them. So I asked both of us to share a moment where we mm, where we rise. And then we're going to share a moment of when we rise and moved forward, in moving forward. Because we want you to get a feel of, it's not just about us, like, it's not just about preaching to you, but there are real moments in life when you have to make up your mind to rise. There are real moments in life when you have to make up your mind, I'm going to rise and move forward. Exactly. We're all still making mistakes, but daily, you go to God, or you come to God, or you learn from the mistake. You learn and you grow from the mistake. And one of the things I always connect with, that my church has this banner that we use, and all of it. And I'm going to that's actually what I wanted to talk about on Monday, but I didn't connect on Monday. But this Monday I'm going to talk about it. Growth demands change. Growth, can I say it again? Demands change. So that means while you're growing, there are changes that are going to be manifesting in the spirit realm, as my sis would say, in the natural realm, and just in life. So you can't panic. So that's one of the things I would say that you try not to do when you're going forward, is panic. But one of my rising moments is when, and it's in my book, a stage, as a connect, and it's right behind us. You can see some of it in my book, that knowing God and understanding. And I asked the question, is God real to you? And then the second part is when I talk about a stage of their own, when I talk about me facing a reality of an injury or something that happened at work, and my life was changed totally. And I had to rise from it. But it took me time, because I didn't know which way to turn, because I wasn't used to what I was facing. But again, as Dr. Carolyn said it so eloquently, I had to rely on God totally. And that's what it taught me. And that's what COVID taught me. That's what that challenge is with that, with our former, I'm not getting into politics, but our former president, all the different changes. But that's what it taught me. But one thing I realized is that it wasn't meant to hold me down, but it was meant for me to rise and move forward. And how did I move forward? Because I took the steps that were necessary to move forward. And I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to let Dr. Carolyn share her part. I got up each day with a purpose in mind, with something in mind of rising and not allowing it to hold me back. What can I do? How can I make it better? Why did this happen at this particular time? Not realizing there was something greater, as again Dr. Carolyn said. I would have never thought that I would have owned my own business, CEO and owner of KM Travels, collab with multiple books, now rising with my own solo book. And my first solo book would be, Is God Real to You? And it changed my life. But guess what? If I was doing the other stuff and moving about and still doing what I'm doing, I probably wouldn't have focused on what I needed to focus on to go where I'm going now. So, Dr. Carolyn, you're rising, and what would you like to share about a rising and forwarding moment for you in your life as we get ready to close?
Well, thank you so much for that to what you have said. At 58 years young, I've had many moments where I've had to press my way, as the old mothers would say. Um, having having had toxic relationships in my life, raising three beautiful children to adulthood by myself, owning businesses, starting businesses, not knowing how I was going to hold on to my businesses. Got a plethora of stories and things that I can share, but that's just kind of a generalization. But I'm a woman that has been somewhere, and I have some experiences and stories to tell. Didn't always think I would make it. Didn't always know how I was going to make it, especially when I was raising the three children by myself. But through every experience I've gone through, whether it's been a personal experience, a bad relationship, a broken marriage, I've experienced it. Whether it's been raising three children, not know how I was going to feed my children, whether it was starting a business and not having enough capital to continue the business, I always remember who I am in God. I always remember my why. And it's my why that wakes me up every morning. It's my promise that God said to me and about what he called me to do is what I hold on to. And I always say, God, you called me to this, so you're going to make the way. I've made many mistakes trying to make my own way, trying to make my own plan and trying to figure it out by myself. But I always remember now to just call on God. And he said, and put me back in remembrance of my word. And that's what I do. And I say, God, you told me. And so I'm going to stay right there because I'm leaning and depending on you. And Elder, if I may close to say this, in the rate that the country is in right now, we all going to be dependent on God if we hadn't already started in a minute, because we seeing jobs failing, uh, mortgages and rent is astronomical. We're seeing everything that was man-made is failing except for what God has his hand on. And it's just only thing it's doing is bringing us to a place where we are all learning how to lean and depend on him. So I thank you for your comments. Very, very encouraging. And this whole platform has just been encouragement to me tonight. Thank you so much. Oh, Elder, we can't hear your beautiful voice.
I,
Yeah,
you know what? I took it off and then I realized, I said, "Oh," but it highlights letting you know, hey, you're not on, you're not. Yeah.
yes.
I thank you, but just taking, you know, my life to another level, because as anyone knows, I've been talking about the show. She shared about it, and now my show is streaming live on Roku and the other platforms that she shared, Fire TV, things of that sort. And I am, you know just excited about the next. That's how I'm going to put it, because I know there's so many other things coming up, that we're going to be putting out information. We had, a meeting. I'm going to be putting out information, because I'm opening up, what we're doing in my show, to those that may want to come on live with me, and things of that sort. But there's a process now. Things are being done differently, because it's totally different being you know, on regular platforms than actually go on TV. So there's some things that are upcoming. You're going to see the flyer come out, or I should say, the information come out, by tomorrow. You should see it come out, and just connect with me, DM, if you're interested, and so forth, and you'll understand what it is once I put it out. We're excited about connecting with others, and taking others to new levels, when it comes to, especially if you have a message, and I know I'm saying it correctly, especially if you have a message, and this is why I love my book that I collab that I'm in. When it collabs, everyone has a stage of their own, and it doesn't mean you're by yourself or whatever, but there's something that you bring to the table. It's up to you, for you to use your gifts and talents. So, as we get ready to close out, I just want to talk about, again, rising up and moving forward. I see you popping in, my sis Dita. It's good to see you. You know, it's, again, not allowing, as Miss White shared, the mistakes that you've made. What didn't work out yesterday? What, the challenges that we face today, to detour you from keep going. And that's what I want to end off with, from keep going. We have to make up, you have to have a made up mind. You have to have a mindset, of attitude of, God is going to see me through. And even if you just say, I'm going to make it through, if you made it through yesterday, you're gonna you stepped up to another level, because you woke up this morning. So that means, if you woke up this morning, you're not finished yet. So it's up to you to keep going. But I'm here to tell you, you got this. You got this. Now you need to tell yourself, I got it, and God got me, and I'm gonna make it through. So before we close out with sharing who we are, I don't know if Dr. Carolyn has anything else she wants to leave with y'all, because she also has a book. She also has so many great things going on. We have some other upcoming things and events, and we're excited about the new and the different things that are going to connect and come forth. Um, Connect with BH, connect with go on your Apple, I think it's called Apple, you know information, and download it. Download the app. That's what I wanted to say. And you'll see so much more, and you'll understand why we're so passionate about what we're saying. Dr. Karen, anything else you would like to share before we close out? And
Yes,
you know,
yes,
in the
yes.
mid, in the
Yes, I
mid,
would. I
in the
would
mid,
like to. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elder.
in the midst, share also again as you end off who you are, who you serve, and what you do. At the
Okay.
end, right? Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, I'm Dr. Carolyn Stevens. It's been a pleasure being here. I serve as the CEO of the BAC Media Group. We are a television on demand network. Certainly want to encourage all of you. If you, it's not that if you have a voice, everybody's got a voice. If you have a story that you would like for the viewership of 100 million people, okay, then you need to connect with Elder Carmen. She has some great opportunities for you to be on the network with her. And so, if you're interested in sharing your story, you're interested in sharing your victory moment, this is an opportunity now that she has created a platform where you can actually be on television, okay? And you can share your story, give your insight, talk about your victory moment with our television viewers. Again, we stream on Roku TV. You can add the BHC Media Network channel to Roku TV. We stream on Apple TV and on Fire Stick. You can go to your Play Store. You can download the BHC Media Network app. It's free. Once you download the app, then you can pull up shows and you can watch all of the beautiful shows that are on it. You can go to our website, which is blackhouse.live, or you can put in www.blackhouse.live, and you're able to register, watch shows right from your computer or your tablet. But most importantly, this is your time, this is your hour, this is your season. So if you want to be on television with Elder CK and share your victory moment, then you can DM her, you can message her, and she's going to be offering lots and lots of you an opportunity to be on television with her to share your voice, your story with the almost 100 million viewers that are watching you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on the television screen with Elder CK. Listen, you can also go to www.baclive and you can drop Elder a message if you want. Okay, right there, you can say, hey, I'd like to be on TV with you. All right, so that's also another way you can do it. So I'm looking forward to rising up with each and every one of you. Thank you again, Elder CK, for having me. This has truly, for me, been a victory moment. Thank you, everybody.
Wow. And I don't think there's nothing else to be said. This has been awesome. We just want you to know to rise and move forward. That's all. That's it. Let go, let God, let go. Don't let the past hold you back from your amazing future. And there's so much more ahead. So, one of the main things I want to say when it comes to rising up and moving forward, stop looking back. What's ahead is so much better than what's been. So, this has been a victory moment with CK and Dr. Carolyn. And we appreciate everyone that took time, those that are going to come and, look at check it out, please make sure you click the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. And if you haven't connected with me here on Facebook and on my other social media platforms, feel free to connect with me there. And most of my, all of my platforms normally has Elder or CM King 50 or Elder CM King 50. Those are the names that I normally use, or you'll just see Carmen King or Elder Carmen King. And I just love connecting to you. So I am an author, speaker, CEO, and owner of KM Travel. Yes, I do traveling because traveling is part of life. So, yes. So I even help you with that. So I'm excited to continue. I'm excited to see what God has for you. I thank you for all those my family, friends, those that have connected today. I appreciate you and thank you for the next that for the support and the love. So we are gone. We are again connect with Dr. Carolyn also, because we're gonna put links and so forth below for you to connect with us, links and all of that. And again, tomorrow I'm going to put out the highlight of what the information that we were sharing and how you can actually join me here, and also join me on this BHC platform. Um Listen, it's up to you. You have a voice, not why not share your story? Why not share your story? So we love you. We appreciate you. We thank you again. And once again, like I said, we're going to share some information in the comments. So give us a few moments and we're going to share links and all of that. And, as we continue. So, as I always end off, continue to stand up, stand out, and stand strong as you rise up and move forward. So, blessings and love. As we say, have a good evening to everyone and take care.